they will be on the terminal plus minus and the signal for your input or your output. So that's kind of convenient. You plug your 3 wires right there. If you have a 16-point card, there'll be, in this case, it's an output. If you have 16 outputs, notice there's no 16 pluses or minus to connect to my load. So if I'm driving relay coils, I have 16 outputs to go to 16 coils on one side of the coil, but then the other side needs common power, and then the rest of the power. So this, can be achieved by some cards called NX-PC that they go in the rack next to these guys and provide access to plus and minus for push-in terminal. Or you can do it a conventional way where you just install some regular terminal blocks underneath the NXIO and you jump all your pluses and minus down there. So here is analogs. So we're kind of running out of time, so I won't talk too much on this, but all I'll say about the analog is they're, again, very good value being NXIO, but one thing to watch out for is there's a separate part number for single-ended differential, input, output, also the number of points. You might see 2, 4, 6, 8 points. So hence there might be a few dozen part numbers of these NX analog cards, where in the CJ there was just 2 or 3 cards and they would do everything with different dip switches. So next up, a real quick talk about HMIs. And the good news is for the Sysmac family, all 3 of the families of HMI that Omron offers are usable. So they have the NB basic color, which is an economy model, and it's very popular because of the cost. We have the NS, which has been around for a while, but very user-friendly and very powerful. Then we have the true Sysmac NA HMI, which belongs to the Sysmac family. So therefore, if you have Sysmac Studio, an NA will be programmed with it, but this NS would require a different software and NB as well. So if we look at all the HMIs they have, as we said, it's good news. We can use them all because we can now go between 3 inches and 15 inches for HMIs. So basically, our front leading offering would be the NA series these days. So we got there a 7, 9, 12, and 15, and they support dual Ethernet ports, like our NX102 we talked about earlier, which is really cool and powerful. So that makes them a little bit of an advantage if you're going to do remote monitoring on the internet or something. We can use that second port. And again, the NS has been around for a long, long time, and a lot of people trust it or have experience with it. Very user-friendly, but kind of on its way out, you could say perhaps, because really the NA is the front runner, and the NB is very popular because of its price per inch. It's just a basic operator interface. So in the NBs, we range from 3 to 10 inch size. And so yeah, they're compact, lightweight, DC powered economy models. They have a USB port on them. You can choose serial or Ethernet. When you buy the Ethernet model, by the way, there's a couple things about that. You still get serial, and it's considered the advanced model. So it can do things like data logging and alarms and recipes and stuff. That's the non-Ethernet model or non-01 model may be restricted from. And the good news about the software, it's a shareware, it's free, the MB Designer. And we do support some multi-vendor, talking to third-party PLCs only on the serial side for the most part. So here's a look at the NS. The NS offers a special robot controller type NSH5. Then it goes from NS5 all the way up to 15, not shown on this page. The number of colors and resolution is a little bit lagging against the new front-runner NA. But again, what we like with this one is the user-friendliness or backwards compatibility. If they already have some in their plant, then we would still use NS. This is the Sysmac remote viewer. So for iPhone and Android, you can download this free app. If you go on your phone, you can check it out. Basically, then it will allow you to choose add HMI and then choose NB, NA, or NS. you would need the IP and so on. Then you can connect to the HMI. Now, if this is going to the internet, then you will need your IT people to do some magic for you to make it work. And I've had a couple of these over the years hooked up for demonstration, and you can log on to them and check them out. And it's just simple, basic programs, but just to demonstrate how the remote viewer operates. And by the way, the viewer implies that you just see what's going on. There's an operation mode where you can actually touch switches and turn things on and off. So just a word of caution with that one, that nobody is inside the machine when you turn it on. Okay, so quickly, the NA. So this is belonging to the Sysmac family. And again, like I said, in the Sysmac Studio Lite, you can even program all these screens with the lower end PLC CPUs. They have 16:9 display. They have higher resolution and millions of colors. So they're definitely, from a visual impact, ahead of the other series, and they're definitely the front runner. I like this picture. It shows really easily all the things you can connect to the NA. So you can connect, obviously, your PLC, which will be an NX or an NJ series on Ethernet port. You could connect to CJ2, but we really wouldn't recommend that heavily because it's not as easy to work with tags as it is with the Sysmac, but it's possible. Yeah, SD card, Sysmac Studio on a different port. This different port could also go through the internet to do programming and stuff. We can connect a mouse, USB stick, keyboard, and then Sysmac Studio on USB. So just to note, the data logging that you can do, you can choose between SD card and USB. You can actually data log to either one, your choice. So remote connectivity. So now, we were showing some stuff a little earlier. That was to do with web servers for remote connectivity. The NA has a distinction of having the VNC. So VNC stands for Virtual Network Computing, and it is a more modern, faster updating way to remotely connect to a screen. So it's secure because we have passwords. We can actually have numerous different logins in the current version of the software. And so we have security on there. You can remote in with a tablet, let's say, to a screen that's anywhere around the world. You can monitor it, and as we said earlier, you can even operate it. Okay, so this one is a programming example. Recently, I worked with one of my colleagues at Proax, and we worked on a big system with an NX1P, NB HMI due to cost reasons, and we had a safety in there. So basically, what has to happen is the safety tags need to go into the PLC, not directly to the HMI. We need to have these AT addresses, and then we can drive some tags in the PLC, which then in turn light up the indicators on the HMI. So that'll be a little bit more obvious when you see this. So now on this screen, for emergency stops, we have another page for light curtains and mats and stuff. There's a lot of safety I/O. We have a very simple annunciator, and this is one of the values of the system, is that we bring all the information into one place that's within the Sysmac environment, and we can display all of it on the HMI. If they have anything go wrong with their safety, who pressed e-stop, where is it on the machine, and how can they start the machine back up in the least amount of time. So that's pretty much the end of the technical session. I think my time is coming to the end. We have a few other things we want to discuss with you. First is the Proax website. So recently, they've been working really hard to add extra things, extra value to the website. So we basically, one of the biggest things I would say is you can look at stock for various items and know if they're in stock or even from the vendor that's supplying Proax, so you can get a much better handle on stock. We have robotic cell configurator. We have, obviously you can shop 24/7 in there and find your pricing and stuff. We have an online chat assistant. The person pops up and you can ask them questions for selecting products or whatever you might need. So yeah, please go to proax.ca, and also please remember to register for upcoming sessions that we have. The next one that we're going to have is going to be Sysmac in a Day HMI. So some more things about value add from Proax. As you probably know, Proax is national, so we go all the way across Canada. We have a very strong technical team with lots of people in it and lots of expertise. It's possible to arrange on-site training. Obviously, that's when the COVID is finished. And we strive to get very fast lead times and get product into your hands as fast as possible. Offering the online purchasing through proax.ca is a convenience thing. And we have a business development team to provide innovative solutions and work with you on projects. So the upcoming dates: next Wednesday, April 29th is NA-HMI. Then there's some other vendors and topics coming up soon after that. And since we recently got on this, we plan to add some more topics very soon to the list of topics that we will cover. So if there's any questions, I'll have Kevin look in the chat. And if anyone wants to unmute, feel free and let the questions rip.
Yes, so we're going to open up the floor to if anyone have any questions. I see that we have one here. So database connection was coming soon. Is the NX XX20 available?
Yes, actually, that's right. One of those slides might be outdated there. So the NX102 with a -20 is absolutely currently available and on the shelf. So the NX102 database models, you can get them. And remember, the NX1P can't support that. It's the entry-level shoebox unit, but NX102, the mid-range processor, can support it, and it has been in stock for a little while now and totally available.
Great, awesome, Steve. Is there any other questions? We'll give everybody a few minutes. Yeah, sure. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. In the meantime, I just want to let everybody know that after this webinar, I will send everybody a thank you email with all the registration links for these next upcoming events, in addition to some additional documents that Steve mentioned about some added value documents. You guys can try out some of the stuff that you have learned today on Sysmac.
Yes, thanks, Kevin, mentioning that. I'd like to just drive that point home. So yeah, we do have an extensive library of stuff at Proax we've created to add value, that is sample programs or things like that, or quick start documents to make your life easy and to get new products up and running faster. And then also Omron has a whole bunch of stuff, and some of our other vendors have. There's one called quick tip videos in Omron's case on YouTube. So these things can be quite helpful when you go to program something and they show you some advanced features or things like that. So yeah, feel free to reach out to us if you need a particular type of application note. Then we'll give it to you if we've got it, and if not, we would even endeavor to try to create one for you.
Perfect, thanks, Steve. So we actually have another question here. They were wondering if Profinet adapters come with it.
Okay, Ethernet adapters come with which?
Sorry, Profinet. P-R-O.
Profinet.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that's a really tricky, good question. Okay, so basically, out of what we covered today, the NX102 has Modbus TCP/IP functionality, TCP/IP, in one of its EIP ports. So if it was a Siemens device, let's say, we could talk to it on TCP/IP Ethernet. But Profinet, no. Now, It's not complete, no. There is CJ cards that are Profinet master and slave cards. So let's say you had an NJ101, NJ3, NJ5. You could get a Profinet master for it or a Profinet slave card. So this way we can interface with Siemens or Profibus, Profinet stuff. So this basically, I would just say Omron does have connectivity, but they're not really big in Profinet. It's only on certain CPUs for certain type of connections and certain protocols. So check with us very closely on that and we'll do what we can for you. But Ethernet IP or Ethernet, we're just all over that. But good question.
So we actually have another question here. So does it connect to different database engines like MS Access?
Yeah, that's right. Somewhere in the document I'd have to get you, there's a whole list of the types like Access, Oracle. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. Obviously Microsoft SQL, MS SQL, and then some other ones. But yeah, there's probably 6 or 7 different databases and most of the current ones that are supported. And Omron is continually adding to that list.
Perfect.
Yeah, we can certainly forward you more detail on that one by email if you want us to dig into it.
Awesome. If anybody doesn't have any more questions, would be the end of our webinar. Like I mentioned earlier, I will send everybody all the registration links to our upcoming weekly trainings. We are going to be having one every Wednesdays and Fridays, so stay tuned for that. I will also be attaching all this documents Steve have mentioned earlier today. I'd like to thank you for everybody for their time, and I hope that everybody stays safe and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Yep, thanks for listening, guys.